What is going on, guys? Dark Gaming here, and I'm feeling a lot better than the last 2 days, so I figured I might as well try and make another video. So what you're gonna see in the background is the builds that I'm running on my Limbo and my Volcar Wraith, and this was yesterday's sortie. So why am I showing you this? I want to talk about Limbo. Yes, the frame that basically half of the community hates and the rest of it just adores. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm one of the few people that actually love Limbo, and the build that I showed you is the build that I always run with him. Now, I do have a lot of builds for my Limbo, but specifically, this is the build that I tend to run on most of the things that I want to do with him. And I call this the sniper build, because what is Limbo? Well, story-wise, he's effectively a stage magician. He does magic, but he's also a mathematician. I don't get how the second part fits with the first part, but putting that aside, ability-wise, you've got your first ability, Banish, where you can just put friendlies into the rift or enemies into the rift, dealing damage to the enemy. And if you have the augment for his first ability, you can also heal the friendlies that you send into the rift. His second ability, Rift Walk, allows him to travel into the rift. His third ability, Rift Surge, allows him to deal more damage when enemies that are in the rift. Its augment allows you to deal even more damage based on the number of enemies in the rift. And his fourth ability, not third, is Cataclysm, which basically creates this sphere that anything that's within the sphere is in the rift and anything outside the sphere is out of the rift. But as you will see later on, this doesn't quite apply if you use Banish or Rift Walk. But other than that, I honestly find Limbo to be the very special type of occasion where, as the devs say, half of the community loves him, they love the way he plays, and they just love his style. And then there's the other half of the community that just don't like Limbo. They don't like how he plays, they just don't like the way that his style works. And I'm here to kind of bridge the gap among those two, because I love Limbo, but I do agree, he does need a rework. How can you rework something, though, that half of the community loves and the rest of it hates? How about you add a couple more abilities? Because, let's face it, Rift Walk, Banish, those are effectively the same ability, they just have different targeting. So why not just have them in the same ability? That's pretty easy to do, isn't it? But before we get into the rework, let's just talk about the build that I'm running, because until he gets reworked, I think this is a pretty good build for you to run if you're a type of Limbo player, or you want to try out Limbo but you heard that he's not that great, or you just don't know what type of build to run with him. So what does Limbo do exactly? What is he good for? He doesn't do damage, obviously. Like, his most damaging ability is technically Cataclysm, and that doesn't deal any more damage than Banish does. It just does it in a radial strike instead of just a single targeting. And he's not exactly a crowd controller. Well, technically he can be. I mean, if you use Rift Walk and just sit in a group of enemies, you can technically crowd control, because they'll be focused on you and they won't be able to actually hit you, and your friends can, like, run around, do stuff while Limbo's just sitting there. taking all of the attention. Not the greatest of crowd control though, because if you get to be found outside of the rift, you're kind of screwed. So what is he good at? Obviously he's not tanky. He can't really be a team player. So what is he good at? He's good at specific targeting. I mean, his first ability targets a specific target. You know, it's not, oh, there's a bunch of enemies in front of me, let me just damage every single one of them or send every single one of them in the rift. He doesn't do that. He's specific to the target. And this brings me into the people that use sniper rifles into the game. And obviously I'm not one of them, because as you saw, my Volcar Wraith build, it sucks. I don't even have any forma onto the thing. And the only reason it has a catalyst is mostly because it was an event weapon and it came with a catalyst. Now, I do like the Volcar Wraith, but I'm not a sniper. I just don't feel like sniping. Most of the time, I'm a healer or a tank. So I don't do a lot of specific targeting, but when I do, I'm good at it because I have Limbo. And you will see it right now in the background, in the gameplay, that I'm swarmed. There's so many enemies. I'm a fly, and there's just fly swatters all over the place. How am I gonna get through? And this is infested, so there's ancient healers, and there's Eximus units that I need to kill. But there's so many more that might just get in my way. Well, this is where Limbo comes in play, because snipers, obviously, those are the guys that when they use the sniper rifle, they're just gonna take out a specific target and let you take out the crowd. If there's a Corpus Tech in the back, they'll kill that Corpus Tech and you kill the small fry. That's what snipers do, and that's what Limbo's good at. He's not meant to go up against multiple people at once. He's not meant to look at the crowd and say, I'm gonna pick the entire crowd for my magic trick. He's gonna go, I choose you for this magic trick, and that guy's gonna come up to stage and he's actually gonna be part of the magic trick. You know, he's not just gonna be one of the many that will participate in that magic trick. He's gonna be the only one that participates in that magic trick. That's just how Limbo works. And his third ability that allows him to deal more damage while in the rift, it applies even better, because you deal more damage to that specific target that you want to kill, and since you're a sniper, you're already dealing a lot of damage, and the more you hit, because you're accurate, the more damage you'll deal. And that's where the Cataclysm comes into play. Now, of course, Cataclysm is only going to be used if you can't target a specific target that you need to hit. In this case, the forehead, because you can't just rift the forehead. You can't banish the forehead into the rift, so you can just simply target him alone. Thus, you will use Cataclysm, and as you use Cataclysm and you damage the forehead, you'll notice that that's basically what you're good at. You know, you sit at the back, you don't control the crowd, you don't take attention, you're the guy that sits at the back, that nobody looks at him, and he's the one that does the most job. Because you see an ancient healer in the background, you're gonna kill that ancient healer before he comes into range and becomes a problem for your team. You see that nullifier in the background, you know he's gonna be a big problem if he comes close to you and your team, so you wipe him out before he can get close. That's what Limbo does. That's what snipers do in this game. You're not gonna be up front and trying to kill people. You're only gonna kill the people that you need to kill. The rest of them, you just ignore them. You let your friends, your teammates, the ones that are with you, to take care of those guys. And this is where my build comes into play. You're meant to sit back, use your sniper rifle, take out those high priority targets, and let your team take care of the crowd. That's what Limbo's good at. That is what he can do right now. And that's why current Limbo players, those that aren't trolls, they're good at what they do. You know, they're not just gonna sit there, try and control the crowd or anything like that. Most of them are gonna be doing something similar to what I am doing. Or maybe they'll be using a build that they saw from one of the many videos that other Warframe content creators do. And as an example, I saw a video a couple of weeks ago from Frozen Balls, and he had a really good build on this Limbo, but he said he picked it from somebody else. That was a really good build, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not oriented towards what I am trying to tell you to do as a Limbo. Limbo's good at this sort of thing, and that's why I feel this is what Limbo's supposed to be. And as far as his rework goes, I'm not gonna really speak about abilities, because yeah, his abilities do need a rework, but I'm not gonna say, oh, remove this ability, oh, add this ability. I'm just gonna say, you already know that the people that use Limbo use all of his abilities. It's like Chroma. You know, you need to use Vex in Vex, Armor, and Elemental Ward. You're not just gonna sit there and use one of 4 abilities. You're gonna sit there and use 3 of 4 abilities as Limbo, or hell, even all 4 if you need to. And this really brings me into the rework subject. If you don't know how to rework a frame where everybody's using his abilities, or at least the ones that do use the frame, and the ones that don't use him, they just say they want other abilities or something new for said Warframe, just cramp them up, you know? Do something similar to what you did with Ivara or Mr. Varbam. You know, those have multiple abilities built into one, and you can cycle between them. While Limbo, his abilities are the type of abilities that you could easily have the capability to cycle through them, but you don't have that capability. And I don't understand why, because you should be able to have that ability. Just cramp them all up. Make one ability have all 4 effects that Limbo's ability currently has. And then, just go from there. Add some other abilities. Add some uniqueness. Add some Limbo.